Welcome back, sleepyheads, to another episode of Sleepy Aliens Perspective. I am your host, Leigh, and this is a continuation of the previous episode that I just did about self-death complex. This episode is just going to be me talking about some of the wellness tips that I developed, as I went through my healing phase with it. So let's just jump right into it. I realized I forgot to say in the first video, I saw in my notes, in college, I studied psychology. I minored in film. I should have had a double major, but I was told all I needed to graduate was a major and a minor. Let's not get into that. That's a whole nother thing. I don't regret college, but I do regret not double majoring. So I got my master's degree in public administration. And I'm just saying all this because I want people to know that I do respect the three-dimensional perspective of mental health, Like I said, we need the science and the spiritual. It must go hand in hand. I just didn't follow through with my career in psychology because I realized that my belief systems were, operating outside of the Western perspective for where, that's out of the time, Like I can be a spiritual advisor, but I can't be, a psychotherapist. It's just not going to work. I'll get sued for malpractice just for, creating, in their minds, I'd be creating, false beliefs, but these are not false beliefs to me, right? My personal beliefs. But yeah, so here are my wellness tips for healing your self-death complex and getting through that. One, you have to separate yourself from toxins, triggers, whether that's a place or a group of people or a school. You have to separate yourself from those environments and people that pull you back into that old version of yourself. Because like I said, that old version of you exists. And basically, if you allow yourself to stay around all of these things that associate you with that older version of yourself, that's going to basically make your subconscious believe that you're still in that older version, and that's where you'll be. And that's why it's so vital that you have to separate yourself. And, I know a lot of people think like, oh, I'm not just going to walk away from all of my friends and give up my friends. You don't have to do that. The hope in those situations is that by you separating yourself and healing, not only will you have a better understanding of the strength of your relationships and how you truly feel about, those people and the impact they have on your energy. But there could always be a time in the future, even if you have to separate from those people, where you can come back. Because maybe while you're growing, they're growing too, right? They're working on themselves, And then hopefully you guys can all come back as these, spiritually matured and healed versions of yourself that will bring out healthy characteristics in each other and not promote toxins and triggers, right? That is the idea. But yeah, so you really have to separate yourself from the old to become the new. And like I said, that's super hard. It's not easy. But it's worth it, And I know a lot of people, when you go through the dark night of the soul, or when you really focus on doing your shadow work, the hard thing can be the isolation. Just because of my childhood, I spent a lot of time to myself, so I'm too comfortable with being alone. And a struggle for me is developing a desire to be around other people sometimes, right? But for other people, who aren't good with that time alone, it can be very difficult. But what you have to remember is that you upgrade when you're alone. When you're alone, you can gain clarity, you can acknowledge the things that you need to do to better yourself and how you need to grow. And you can really focus on all aspects of that growth. And again, I just have to throw this in there. It's another great benefit to being single is that you have ample time to focus on all of these areas that you want to uplift in yourself. And if you're someone like me who had to deal with a lot of trauma when you were a child, it's really invigorating during that healing process to be single and to really not have the extra stressors that would possibly come along with a relationship. So just another benefit to being single. Not that I promote it forever, I'm too cute to be single forever. It is a benefit, I will say. And number 2, therapy, counseling, or if you can go to like a group session thing, maybe they have at your church. I'm trying to think of, ideas if you don't have health insurance, right? I know those phone lines for mental health, like I think those can be helpful, like in an emergency circumstance. But if you really need that consistent nurturing that a professional can provide, I do highly suggest you find a mental health practitioner that can help you get through that, because as you're healing, you do have to do a lot of inner work and focus on yourself. And sometimes if you are going through a negative thought cycle, it can intensify how you internalize things. So it kind of helps balance that out. And I think it's super vital in that process. And, I did several years of therapy as I was going through like the bulk of my dark night of the soul. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. Journaling. I love to journal. I love nice paper. This is like the worst thing that I do to the environment. I use a lot of paper towels, I have to be honest. I still like Clorox wipes, and I love nice journals, like gold trimmed like pages and like old leather and a nice pen. Like I love like finishing a journal just so I can pick out a new one, right? It's super exciting. And I will, just find like different websites all the time just to find new ones that I like. Or if I'm on a budget, Peter Popper Press, I think that's a good one if you're on a budget and you want something that looks nice and kind of can give a visual representation for the chapter of your life. I like that company for that reason. I'm not promoting this company, I'm not getting paid to, but Peter Popper Press is good if you want a cheap journal. But other than that, journaling is good so you can monitor your thought evolution, the evolution of your emotions, of your perception. And I actually sometimes it can be cringe if you look back at your old journals and you're like, why the fuck did I talk about that guy for what was wrong? Why did I even, I probably couldn't even remember that person if I thought about it. But at that time, it took up half of my journal sometimes. So you really get to see how you change as a person, and it really helps you acknowledge your growth, and it's a beautiful thing. And I have this, I hate when I get premonitions about being a mom, because I'm not energetically open to motherhood. I have not opened up to it because I know it's my choice at the end of the day. But yeah, I'm not fully energetically open to it. But I have this premonition of my child reading my journals, my daughter reading my journals. It's all I'm going to say about that. But anyways, journaling is very positive. You get to visualize your progression, you get to acknowledge your growth, and you get to see where maybe you still are having the same narrative that you're running through your mind. So there's a lot that you can analyze from your journal there. I would say I'm 20%, 20% meat in my diet, you know, but that's, for me, that's still a good amount considering, like, you know, the sizes of my meals, basically. So, yeah. Yeah. And I think meat, I just want to say spiritually, meat can be a good thing, because if you're very tapped in, sometimes you get stuck in the spirit realm, you linger there too long, and you kind of just feel like you're really high. And sometimes if I eat beef, it kind of it lowers my vibration in a good way, to where I can like kind of be like, okay, I'm back, like I'm out of that cloud. That was great, you know. So that's why I still eat a little meat. And dairy, I don't eat much dairy. I'm probably like 6% dairy. You know, I still like cheese. I love melted cheese. I love cheese. And I can't eat that much cheese, and it sucks. And I don't eat much of the vegan cheeses because I don't eat things that are just imitations. I think there's just too many ingredients in there. There's too many additives. There's preservatives. So it just doesn't feel as healthy, even though it's nice to have that option to avoid having, you know, so much beef and so much dairy, right? I totally get why it's good. And I have Beyond Meat burgers, you know, or Beyond Be, whatever they're called, Beyond Burgers. I think those are good. And the sausage is good too. But yeah, so my diet, and I make a lot of smoothies. I make a lot of green smoothies. And a lot of that's tied with like my autoimmune issues with inflammation and like my thyroids and other things that developed because of trauma. We won't get into that, but that's a whole nother episode. But yeah, so smoothies, that's huge. My favorite smoothie that I like to do after I have really tough, like if I had like a really bad episode with like self-death complex, I will get at least 2 cups of kale. I will do moringa powder, ginger, cucumber, celery, beet powder. I have different mushroom powders. I have like a chaga one, and then I have like a 7 mix like mushroom one that I have that I need to get more of. So I've just been doing that. I have maca powder that I'll add in there. Sometimes I'll add cayenne pepper if I've had like a really heavy cry, because it like helps me light my fire pit again. I don't put much fruit in there, but like a few strawberries is good. I think that's it. I put a lot of shit in there, but that's kind of my revival smoothie. And then I do like milder smoothies, you know, with like spinach and other things if I'm just like needing something in the morning, or like if I'm on my lunch from work, you know, something like that. Next one, exercise and yoga. Of course, I think I talked about this in another video, but to move energy in the body, you know, not only do you have to breathe, but you have to move. And that's why exercise is so important, because it helps you like pump out the physical manifestation of your spiritual toxins, essentially. It helps you sweat that out. And that's why sometimes you may have like a really magnificent glow when you leave the gym or something like that. It's awesome. I love that glow. And it's so evident too. Yoga is good. And if you're not like, I'm not like an extreme yoga person where I'm doing like intense poses. I like to just, you know, do ones that help in like the areas I know I struggle with. And then I do a lot of slow motion, like relaxation yoga that like stretches all the areas, but it's not strenuous. It's not like an exercise, you know. I'm just not that intense when it comes to yoga. That's why I really don't do yoga classes. I just do what I want to do at home at my own pace, you know. But yeah, yoga is great for helping you move that energy and helping you relax, and also just helping your muscles, because as you like release trauma from your body, you like, especially if you have like a episode with self-death, you're gonna like feel so physically just like, oh, you just feel like a bag of bones and you just want to lay there, right? So just helping, like, you know, wake up your muscles and, you know, get your body feeling normal again, and like just circulating and getting the blood going. And yeah, it just helps everything get going. So yoga is great. Next, laughter. Oh my gosh. So I will say, I got a TikTok for, like, to promote my writing. I have like an Instagram page for my writing. So I got a TikTok for that initially. And I'm a musician too, but I wasn't really like seeking to do my music. So I was just using my music as a way to promote my writing page. And now, you know, it's just basically shown me like that TikTok is pretty fun. And I love how funny people are. There's so many like unexpected humor and so much creativity that I've seen on TikTok. And I never ever, because I was never a social media person, but I've grown in the past year, and I recognize that I need to do that to build an audience for my art and like my messages that I want to put out there. So I've really embraced social media in the past year, but TikTok is fun. And so if you need a laugh, I say always just stroll through TikTok. But if that doesn't work, watch an old movie, or just be around people that make you laugh, you know. But don't depend on their energy to like build that, but you know, just enjoy that company for the moment. Yeah, but laughter is important. Also, I've been reading Rick Hanson's book, The Buddhist Brain. I think that's what it is. Am I saying it backwards? But I think it's The Buddhist Brain. And basically he talks a lot about healing your neural pathways by intensifying and focusing on feelings of joy and retaining joyful moments in your life. And that can be everything from like a really nice cup of tea to like a wedding ceremony, right? There's layers to that. But in his book, he basically talks about the importance of like rebuilding your neural pathways with joy. And I think, you know, laughter is a good way to exasperate retaining feelings of joy. So just consider that. I mean, this one's basic, but do things that make you feel good. Even if that's like, I don't know, jump roping, going for a walk, like getting your favorite drink, like tea, or, I mean, I don't really drink, but just, you know, going somewhere you like, or do whatever the fuck makes you feel good. Just focus on those activities and be selfish about it and really indulge yourself with it, because, you know, you're trying to redevelop the desire to want to live, and you have to do that you have to change that in your consciousness, and you have to heal that, and that's not easy. So indulge yourself with the things you like to do and what makes you feel good. And I know it can be hard to do that if you are feeling on the low end of that, but if you focus on the fact that you can indulge yourself until, you know, maybe that wasn't so healthy to suggest, but indulge yourself as much as you feel appropriate, you know. Another one, dancing. That's how I promote episodes for Sleepy Aliens Perspective, is that I dance on TikTok. And you know what's crazy? 2020 was so rough for me because I ended up living in my car for like almost 10 months, and I quit a toxic job. I tried to get a book published and a huge opportunity fell through. Just so much was trying to really knock me out of this dimension. But, you know, I got through a lot, and especially living in my car, but I wasn't like able to dance as much as I was used to. And, you know, through everything that was happening in those couple of years and things being shut down, it's not like you could like go somewhere and dance. And like I used to like bike to the bars, and I would just like, I'd smoke a joint, I'd maybe have like one shot of whiskey, and then I would dance really hard for 3 hours, and I would just basically command the whole dance floor. And then I would just go home, and I'd like take a shower, make a really indulgent like late night meal, and then I'd go to bed, and I'd wake up pretty sore but really happy. So I love dancing. And I think spiritually, and if you think about ancient cultures, like dancing is ritualistic and it's so essential when it comes to moving energy and healing the body. And also producing those feelings of joy, and it liberates the soul. Like, I don't know, it's just so good. I love it. But yeah, so dancing. Number 9. Remember that you can heal your mind. You have control over your mind, and you can gain that power, and you are not damaged. Nothing is wrong with you. It's okay if your wiring was preset to some really shitty settings, but you can change and you can rewire and you can evolve and you can heal and you can grow and you can love life and you can enjoy your life. And yeah, things can get better. They really can. Never thought I would, like, you know, it's taken me a long time to like say that and genuinely mean it, but I do. So I hope you keep that in mind. But those are my wellness tips for if you are healing your self-death complex out there. So I hope you guys found this helpful. Leave it in the comments if you have any other tips that I left out for, like, yeah, let me know, because I want to learn other tips too. I like learning wellness strategies. I just like learning about that stuff. So leave something in the comments about that. Let me know what you think. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. This is awesome. I feel really good and I feel really relaxed, and I just want to say thank you for listening and giving me the space to communicate these things. And yeah, it's nice when you know you're doing what you're meant to do. So that's all I want to say about that. But have a good night, sleepyheads, and I'll see you next time. Bye.